Friends, I had an idea for an epic new podcast. The story of a kid who got separated from his parents and must survive in the jungle alone. So with the help of many friends, we made it.
Dad, it's me. I'm trapped down here in the Lost World.
He said, Lost World?
I found out of this hole and slid down this big, long tunnel. Right near where we camped, there's a hole in the ground. But what happened next is one of the biggest reasons I got my nickname, Miles the Brave. And I learned that you should never give up just because things look hopeless. Even when you're not sure what to do, you just never know what might happen if you keep trying.
Miles the Brave is our exciting new original podcast made by Storybutton. The entire season is available everywhere, August 21st. So right now, make sure that you search for the podcast Miles the Brave and click follow. You are not going to believe what happens on this adventure. Hello friends, it's Mr. Jim and welcome back to Kid Short Stories. You know what makes these stories like 10 times more awesome, right? Yeah, sharing with a friend. So right now I want you to think of two friends that you can share this story with and have your parents text them the link to the story and you guys can listen to it together. Well, friends, today's story comes to us from Cece. Hey, Cece, she sent me an awesome idea for a story and you can too. Are you guys ready for today's adventure? Me too, let's go! It was a beautiful morning as Cece was just waking up. As she sat up out of bed and stretched her arms, she put her feet down on the floor and realized what day it was. It's Grandma's house day! She was so excited. She'd been looking forward to today for a long time. She was going over to her grandma's house. But this was no ordinary trip to somebody's house. She had to go on an adventure through the mountains. Because her grandma lived high up on a mountain, kind of far away from any roads or anything, so you had to hike and go on an adventure to go to Grandma's house. How does that sound? Does that sound fun? Oh, I think that would be an awesome way to get to Grandma's house. Well, Cece ran to the kitchen, ate a delicious breakfast, put on her hiking boots, and off she went. As she opened the back door, she was greeted with a cold rush of wind from the mountains. Ooh, wow, there must be a cold front coming in, said Cece. Even though it was summertime, the mountains can be much cooler, and Cece's going to be in for a big surprise with exactly how cold it's about to get. As she whistled through the hills following this trail that she had gone up and down probably 100 times, she saw many critters along the way. Squirrels, fish jumping in the river, birds, and even a very friendly moose. Oh, hello, Mr. Moose! Cece called out and waved. The moose was down a little ways in a valley down below, but he heard her, lifted up his head, which his mouth was full of grass that he was trying to eat. All of the grass in the valley. I think he was a very hungry moose. And he said, "Mm-hmm." During all the walks that Cece had gone on these adventure trips to her grandma's house, she'd seen that moose many times, and they've never talked very much, but she always thought of him as a good friend. Oh, there's Grandma's house up there. She picked up her feet and ran as fast as she could. She could see her grandma's house just up over the nearest hill. Grandma! She shouted. She was still quite a ways from the house, but she was so excited to see her grandma that she just started screaming for her. Grandma! I'm here! Grandma! Cece, is that you? Her grandma poked her head out from the kitchen window and saw Cece running up the hill waving both her hands. Oh, hi there, Cece. It's so great to see you. I made you cookies. Hey, Grandma. Cece stopped and gave her grandma a big hug at the front door. Did you say cookies? Grandma, it's still like the morning. I just had breakfast a little while ago.
Oh, well, it's a special occasion, so come on inside.
Cece was very happy to come inside of her grandma's house because it was getting chillier and chillier. Every second, instead of it getting warmer, like usually the day gets warmer as it gets closer to the middle of the day, right? Yeah, well, something was strange with the weather today, and it was getting colder and colder. Slam! As they both stepped inside, the wind blew the front door and slammed it shut. Whoa! That was quite a gust of wind, Grandma. Have you ever seen anything like that before? Her grandma had a cross look on her face.
No, that's not a good sign. It usually means there's a very bad storm coming. You should eat your cookies and head on back home. I don't want you to get stuck here.
But what about you, Grandma? Said Cece.
Oh, I'm fine. I love being snowed in up here in the mountains, but your family will need you home.
Her grandma rushed off to get the plate of cookies and then came back with something else. Oh, those look delicious, said Cece. Why are you holding that scarf there?
Well, this scarf has been magical for me through the years, and it's about time that I hand it off to you.
Her grandma wrapped the scarf around Cece's shoulders and her neck. Oh, wow, it is really warm.
And there's something else about it. It's a magical scarf that can fly.
A magical scarf that can fly, said Cece. What are you talking about, Grandma? As she took a bite of the first cookie. Grandma, these cookies are delicious.
Oh, thank you. Yes, this scarf is a magical scarf that will help you fly back home.
Cece wasn't exactly sure if her grandma had lost her mind or if it was real, but these cookies were delicious. So, Grandma, how does, can I have another cookie?
Yeah, certainly. Here you go.
Well, how does this scarf work? Like, is there an on button?
No, there's no on button. It's more like you close your eyes and you just believe, and then it somehow starts flying.
The wind was starting to howl even more, and the snowflakes began to fall.
Oh, Cece, you better get going before the storm moves in and you'll be stuck here for days.
Okay, Grandma, well, thanks so much for the cookies, and all right, I guess I'll stand outside and see if this thing works. Cece grabbed 2 more cookies and put them in her pocket, stepped outside, closed her eyes, and just believed that this magic scarf would start flying. She's felt kind of silly doing that. What would you do if your grandparents gave you a magical scarf and said that it would fly? Would you believe them or feel kind of silly trying? I don't know. I think I might believe it and give it a try. Well, that's what Cece did. And as she closed her eyes, imagined flying, all of a sudden her feet felt very strange. Whoa, Grandma, why is the ground shaking? Wait, where'd the ground go? Whoa!
Bye, Cece. I'll see you next time.
Cece couldn't believe it. She was now hovering and flying above her grandma's house. She waved down to her grandma and started to laugh. Wow, Grandma, this is awesome. Love you, bye. As she waved goodbye to her grandma, it was so magical. The scarf that was wrapped around Cece, it's like it knew exactly where she wanted to go. And she just imagined, okay, let's keep going down that way. And the scarf would just follow her imagination. And it's a good thing too, because her grandma was right. That mountaintop would soon be filled with snow, making it unpassable for many days. But Cece was able to fly all the way back to her house, eating those 2 cookies along the way. The end. Great job, you listened all the way to the end, and you know what time it is. It's time for Kid Shoutouts. I want to say hey to Charlie and Vivian from Toronto, Ontario, Bryn and Elliot from Kingston, Ontario, JJ and Connor from Maryland, Nicholas from Geneva, Illinois, Connor and Michaela from Sydney, Australia, Marlo from Minneapolis, and Dalia from Colorado. I'm so glad that you're all in the Kid Short Stories family. And on the spy team, we could not stop Dr. Stinky Breath and his crew without you, my friends. Well, you have a super duper day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.